Hey guys, it's Eric here at Farpoint Farms. Check it out. I found this new in the box, or used in the box, but in the box and complete, which is really, really rare. This is got to be my most used shortwave radio for shortwave. I love this thing. I have this thing set up in my kind of like hangout room, and it's right below the monitor of my computer. So when I'm editing videos and I'm waiting, for that stuff to render, well, I can play with this, and it is a really cool vintage Radio Shack DX394. When I saw it in the box, I figured, you know what, I'm going to pick up a second one of these things. They're really a good radio, and some people said they don't really compare well to other shortwave radios made in the era. I gotta disagree. I mean, I've played with quite a few shortwave radios over the years, and well, I would say it not only holds its own, but it actually is quite better at a lot of things. Now, it doesn't have, waveform patterns and that kind of stuff, or waterfall effects, but we're looking at a radio built sometime in the late 90s, I believe. And you can see the box here is in pretty good shape. It's been taped up on the bottom, but other than that, it's pretty good. So let's go ahead and open this thing up. We'll take a look at it together. It does still have the original cardboard that came with it. And I don't think the manual's with this, but it might be. Nope, no manual with this, but that's okay. I know how to operate these. All right, so here it is. And these came in a couple of varieties. So if you're interested in purchasing one of these, they did make a secondary model, I think it's a B or a D. I can't remember which one it is, but it actually has a little better. They had some issues with some of the very early ones. And so if you're looking to buy one of these to use daily, I would recommend trying to find one that maybe had been built later. And let's see on this one, I'm not sure. The catalog number on this is 20224. And the serial number on this is very early, 005522. So last date code is 9A5, and it's a beauty. It does come with a power supply built in, which is a really nice feature. You don't have to worry about a wall wart for this thing. We'll start with the back here, and then I'll get the camera closer, and we'll do a channel scan with this thing as well. All right, so here we are. So we do have a PL259 connector here. We have an attenuator, 0 or 20 dB. We do also have an RCA antenna high, and if you wanted to do that as well. And I like this, and I have this on the one in my house. It has a ground, so you can hook a ground to the chassis. I recommend doing that. It really does help with static, and in an unlikely event or likely event that you take a lightning strike, it'll really help. Mono out, tape output, external speaker plug here, 3.5 on that. And then I'm not sure why you would want to have it, or I'm not sure why, but you can hook a DC connector too, so it's a 12 volt there. Now this one didn't come with it, but up on top there is a small hole for a standard just a regular pull-up antenna, but you can kind of see it on the screen there, but that would be your worst possible way of receiving signals on something like this. On the bottom, just an air vent here. It's also where our speaker happens to be. And then we do have these flip-up feet. I like the feet. It gives it a nice little angle there. And on the front, let's go through this here. Headphone jack over here. We do have our mode. We have standby, AM, lower sideband, upper sideband, CW1 and CW2. We have our fine tuning here, which is going to give us a real precision tune. RF gain, which I usually leave all the way up these days with so few stations left in operation. You want to pick up everything you can. Of course, our volume control is here. And then the big knob here is our rotary dial. It does have a whole lot of adjustments, and that's why I like this thing mostly, is I can change the step from the finest of tuning all the way up to 10 kilohertz tuning, which is nice. So step here and there, we have that as well. Time set, sleeper, dimmer, of course our power button. We have a timer, time set and timer, and then we have noise blanker, monitor, and lock if we don't want to, if we want it stuck on a station. That's pretty cool. Scan, and then programming, limit. We have our band select, meter. We can change that around. Frequency, direct input, of course. Enter down here, and then we have our keypad for direct entry of stuff. And yeah, this thing's been around a while. This thing's been out a while. They are, I don't know, I haven't looked recently, but last time I looked, they go for about $150 to $200 on eBay. You get a really good deal. You can get one for $75. Now I'm at Hamfest, which is where I picked this up. They'll still go for $75 to $100. And in very rare cases, if you can find a B model, which I think is the last model they made of it, those will really go for a little bit more, maybe $200. That being said, we're going to go ahead and plug this thing in, and we are going to do a couple of words. I don't know if I'm going to scan through all the channels or anything like that, but I'll do some direct entry, and we'll see what's playing this time of day. Let's do it. All right, well, here we are on the desk. I'm going to go ahead and power this thing up. And we're going to switch over to good old-fashioned AM to start with. We'll turn the volume up a bit. I'm going to leave my mic on me, but I will certainly get you close to it when we get close to a good signal. Of course, it does have all the different bands. I'll go ahead and run you through that. The AM band and a mini shortwave all the way up through 29999. So plenty of that. We can change our meter around and show you signal strength. And we have step control. Right now we're on 5, which is pretty much where I want to keep that. We can change that. And then we can do direct entry here. So I want to start off, we're going to go back here. Let's go through band select. Let's start off. Airband doesn't get anything, so I'm going to skip over that. But be aware it does have it. Also has a nice backlit screen, which you can see. And we'll go through here and see if we can pick up anything. So it may be hard for you to hear, and there's not much to hear, but we are picking up a weak AM station. I would say this radio, compared to the Eton 750, is not a distant second, but it certainly is second. You know, the Eton is a superior receiver on AM, and but again, this one really kind of shines more on the shortwave side of things. All right, so let's go ahead. Speaking of shortwave, and switch over to shortwave, and let's see. Let's see what time is it here. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and start picking some channels out here, and we'll see if we can find something that's working. Oh, one thing I want to point out is that if you press and hold, it does have a nice scan function, which I really appreciate that. I've got a couple of radios that are only direct entry, and that certainly does slow things down when you're trying to get it done. But yeah, so it does have that. Anyway, let's go in here. I'm going to go direct entry, and we're going to try 9400. No, oops, that's it. I'm in the wrong place. We want to do frequency, and that would be 9400. There we go. So there's one station that's already coming through. Let's go ahead and see if 7490 is on the air. Looks like some music playing here on 17765. All right, and so I've moved it over to sideband. I did want to show you here that it works pretty darn good on that as well. I did get a faint station, and we are really solar activity here has caused most of the bands to be dead. It's been kind of a bummer for like weeks now, but well, at least when I have time to play. But I'm going to move my microphone a little closer to the radio itself, and hopefully you all will be able to hear some of that sideband action.
Brother, you've done a good job.
Not a lot out there today, but some. Anyway, I don't want to waste a ton of time doing a band scan. You guys have kind of told me that a review of a radio is good enough, but I do like to flip through every once in a while and show you what's out there. This is the Radio Shack DX394, and in my opinion, if you can find a good deal on one of these, you can't go wrong. It's just a great desktop radio, front-facing like that, to give you all your controls. It's not terribly large, and it's not small enough that you need a magnifying glass to read half the stuff. It's also, if you don't have the manual for it, it's very self-intuitive, like you can figure it out on your own. I guess that'll do it for today, my friends. I will see you next time. Take care.